How's it going, everybody? Marvel Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback, and we are now looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 26. This issue came out in July of 1965, and as we look on the cover for today, we see the Green Goblin. That's right, the Green Goblin makes a reappearance here. We haven't seen him since issue number 23, as well as this guy right here, the Crime Master. So Spidey's going to be taking on two villains today. One villain going to be the Crime Master. It's his first appearance in this issue, so I'm glad that you're here. Don't go away. Go ahead and give this video a big old like and subscribe if you have not, and let's go ahead and get started. So today we're looking at a mystery, and we're going to try to figure out who in the world is this Crime Master, as well as how is Frederick Foswell involved. What's Frederick Foswell up to? We don't know for certain. We know that he was involved in crime in the past, and now he's gone straight. He works for the Daily Bugle. He's a reporter, but he has a big secret. And as always, this is brought to you by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Sam Rosen. Alright, so let's go ahead and look back in the past. We're looking at Spider-Man number 26. So we start out today. We have Peter Parker. He's getting up late at night. Aunt May's asleep. And remember from last issue, she was the one that discovered his costume in the attic, and so he's trying to find where she put it, but he could not find it. And so has a little bit of a dilemma here. He can't change to Spider-Man because both of his costumes are gone. Aunt May hid his first costume, and then the other costume was used to defeat Professor Smythe and J. Jonah Jameson. So Peter Parker is without two of his costumes. So that's going to play a dilemma in this story. And also we need to catch up with the Green Goblin and this guy right here, the Crime Master. It looked like they had originally planned to take over the underworld together, but we learned that the Crime Master wants to do things his own way. And the thing here is we've learned that Green Goblin revealed his true identity to the Crime Master, as well as the Crime Master revealing his identity to the Green Goblin. So both men walk away from each other. Both men have the same goal in mind, to take over the underworld, and the Green Goblin, as we find in this issue, is going to try to stop the Crime Master from becoming the kingpin of crime. And so that's exactly what we see in this issue. The Crime Master is going to grab all of these these gangs, all these mobs and gangs and stuff, get their attention, kind of like what the Green Goblin did in issue 23. So that's exactly what he does. Everybody is talking about this Crime Master, and here we see right here is Frederick Foswell, and we're not too certain how he is involved in this issue. Stan Lee does not reveal what his big secret is in this issue, but for certain it can raise some eyebrows here, as he says he's getting his special work clothes. So we'll learn more about Frederick Foswell and how he's involved in the next issue. But let's go ahead and continue on. We see right here Peter Parker trying to press Aunt May to reveal where she put his costume, but she doesn't want to talk about it. So Peter Parker he's 0 for 1 right there, trying to figure out where his costume is. So he wants to go get his other costume from the Daily Bugle. He thinks that Jameson has it. While on his way, he runs into Betty Brant. Betty Brant, remember from last issue, is pretty mad at Peter Parker because she met Mary Jane Watson. Now, Peter Parker has not met Mary Jane yet, but she is not happy that Peter Parker not only has Liz Allen interested in him, but now Mary Jane Watson. So they have a little bit of a ruckus in the office, and Jameson has to break it up, and Peter Parker's sent out of the office. And while Peter Parker is walking out of the office, he places a spider tracer underneath Frederick Foswell's hat so that he can keep a tab on Frederick Foswell. Peter Parker goes to school, and here we go. For the first time ever, Peter Parker lashes out on Flash Thompson. He's had enough with Flash Thompson, and just so happens that the Principal Davis, catches the whole thing. Liz Allen has to break them up, and so we're going to see right here how Liz Allen is mad at both Peter Parker and Flash Thompson, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with either one of them. So Peter Parker is called up to the principal's office, and he fesses up that he started it, and the principal says he'll come to a decision later. But while doing that, we see right here that Flash Thompson feels a little guilty of it. So we see a little bit of how, even though Flash Thompson doesn't like Peter Parker, he'll eventually fess up to the principal about what really happened. So let's go ahead and get back to the Crime Master here. Crime Master, again, is trying his best to let everybody know that he is going to take over the city's gangs. He wants to be the kingpin of crime. And all these news editors, they want to know how Jameson thinks about the Green Goblin and this Crime Master. And of course, Jameson's going to act like he knows everything. So how is he going to keep tabs on Frederick Foswell without revealing he's Spider-Man? Well, he comes across this costume shop, and he sees that there's a Spider-Man costume in the window. So he asks the store owner if he can buy it. And the store owner's like, really? You want to buy a Spider-Man costume? Why don't you buy the Frankenstein costume? That's selling like hotcakes. But Peter Parker needs that Spider-Man outfit so that he can change to Spider-Man, so he buys it. But while he wears it, he learns that it's not the authentic costume like the other ones. It does not work like the other costumes. As we see right here, they keep coming up, and it's annoying that this costume is too much stretch fabrics in it. So he has to use his own webbing to hold it together. And while he is on the hunt for Frederick Foswell, we see the Green Goblin zoom on past him, because the Green Goblin is not up to good right here. So Spider-Man goes into Frederick Foswell's apartment, and while he's there, we see the Crime Master on a rooftop, and the Crime Master tries to kill Spider-Man. So that raises some eyebrows. Why is the Crime Master right outside of Frederick Foswell's apartment? That shows some indication that maybe Frederick Foswell might be the Crime Master. We're not too certain, though. We don't know for certain, but that's a prediction that you can make here. Spider-Man leaping out of the way. Crime Master fires off 6 shots. His gun is empty. Spider-Man jumps down to take on the Crime Master here. So we're going to see some cool stuff. And then he uses this gas to gas Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like choking to death. Great artwork from Steve Ditko here. Some awesome stuff. So Spider-Man has to leap down, and the Crime Master thinks that he has killed Spider-Man. But just in time, Peter Parker webs to a building to save himself from falling to his death. So that was a big fight right there. He almost lost his life right there from that chemical gas. And we see right here, Spider-Man check it up on Betty Brant. He's still jealous of Ned Leeds, contacting Betty Brant from Europe. That relationship's still going on. So Spider-Man's like, I need to get my real costume back. He visits J. Jonah Jameson, and Jameson's like, you want your costume? Fine. Professor Smythe has it. So we learn right there that J. Jonah Jameson doesn't have his costume, but Smythe will. And hopefully he'll be able to get his costume next issue. But for right now, Peter Parker is going to be fighting crime in this fake costume that he bought at the store. So we see the Crime Master. He finally is going to alert everybody. He says, gather everybody together, because I'm going to announce that I am basically the kingpin of crime. We see a new character here, and this guy, his name is Patch, and he's the one that alerts the police that a lot of the people in gangs are going to be meeting up at this warehouse. So the police have been contacted. Spider-Man shows up on the scene, and then the Green Goblin and the Crime Master are meeting up together to finally talk things out to see if they can come to an agreement. the Green Goblin's had enough, but he can't kill the Crime Master because the Crime Master knows who the Green Goblin is. So we see the rivalry again with the Green Goblin and the Crime Master. So while Spider-Man is trying to locate the Crime Master, he doesn't notice that the Green Goblin is nearby, so the Green Goblin attacks Spider-Man here and uses a stun bomb to defeat Spider-Man. But while the Green Goblin is trying to unmask Spider-Man, he can't because Spider-Man webbed his mask to his face. So Spider-Man was lucky there. So here we go, the big revealing, that revelation that Crime Master is the kingpin of crime, but the Green Goblin has something else to say about that. And here we go, the Green Goblin had defeated Spider-Man, and everybody eyebrows raised right here as we see that the Green Goblin right here is going to be the kingpin of crime, not the Crime Master. So that's a big cliffhanger, and so we'll find out what happens next issue to Spider-Man, as Spider-Man is in the clutches of the Green Goblin. So I hope to see you next time. Go ahead, once again, like this video, comment down below what you liked about this issue, and I will hope to see you next time.